movie next on Swift Horses, 2024 film, 24 January 2026 viewing. Here I, Tanis Coralee of Seattle, talk through my movie notes for my Saturday, 24 January 2026 viewing of the 2024 film On Swift Horses, which is a fiction film about a man and his wife who relocate to California from Kansas, and the younger brother of the husband who explores his sexuality following his return from military duty. Yeah, so there's these two brothers, an older and a younger, and it kind of, there was military duty, and then the younger comes back and like stays with the older brother who has a wife, has a woman, and the younger brother is kind of, I would say perhaps the plot element here is like, he's like, the overarching problem is like, bad influence might be like, kind of like the topic of it. And so like, he explores his sexuality and he might have a history of like gambling kind of thing. And so essentially the woman, the wife, is like, it's like her first time interacting with something like that. So she's like, and I think this is what, per the jacket, was like the Korean War. So, you know, it's like a historical, like in the sense, like in historical fiction set in the past, but not necessarily based on like, it's not meant to be, it's based in the past. Okay. And like decades in the past. And so essentially this woman, she works as a waitress. She's, you know, she's listening to people while she's at her job, and they'll talk about like racehorses or something. So she goes and she like takes on, like classified as like a hidden hobby of gambling, including betting on racehorses based on what she's overheard as a waitress. And so and that kind of is alluded to, the behavior continues even if it's not horses. She kind of continues that hidden hobby even like with the purchase of a new home, and she's still with this older brother. And then the younger brother kind of goes after his gambling interests and exploring his sexuality and that. And yeah, I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. I think, so it doesn't explicitly state it's kind of a bad influence topic. That's my self-assignment for it, is like the serious project I would take on for, and did take on for this, is the how much impact like somebody or something classified as like a bad influence can have, and that it can, like, you know, a person who isn't really necessarily in control of their functioning might take and be like, ooh, that's kind of a shiny object, let me take and, you know, wager based on whatever here is an actress. Whereas like if she had never met the younger brother, she might not have done that. Or if she explores her own sexuality, you know, it's because she interacted with this younger brother. So it's kind of like this causal sequence of like her own experimenting. However, it's like, it's not necessarily of her own choosing. She's like copying the younger brother. So this is, which is like, is it a bad influence, or is she coming up with it, or is it, does it like, you know, get passed to her somehow? So I was just kind of a, okay. I think it's one of those films in a plot where I would say, so I thought Jacob Elordi did well. He was the younger brother. I think I would kind of frame it as, considering the awards landscape in movies for this 2026 year, as of filming this on Saturday, 24 January 2026, I would kind of put this movie / the plot in the arena of, if Timothy Chalamet had been cast as the older brother, would he have won an Academy Award for his performance? It's one of those movies where it's like like a slight tweakings here and there, including like casting, might result in a very different outcome for how the film is perceived. But I thought it was well done. It's a well done 2 out of 5 stars for what it is. It's just not necessarily like a Tanis topic, I suppose. So, which isn't quite a taste mismatch, just kind of like a misfit with me, perhaps, is the way of phrasing it. So, those are my movie notes on Swift Horses, 2024 film, 24 January 2026, viewing.